their lanes tend to be very, very slow. This is not a team that gets a lot of early action going. They like to take their time in setting up their hyper carries. So if LNG can get going early, we could see some differences there.
Yeah, and you can see some comfort being taken away from both sides of the board. Tarzan nearly losing his Lilia, two of the picks you were talking about being his bread and butter earlier on. But also, that Twisted Fate has been a key pick for Angel all through the split to try and set the bot lane up.
Yeah, everyone has been banning Twisted Fate from SUNING. That is their go-to early game champion. Angel just historically has not been much of a Zoe player, so if you take out the Twisted Fate, you really limit the early aggression and the pick potential that SUNING can throw out. Now, the Thresh pick here is something that we've seen a lot from the LEC. It's a champion that goes really well with the hyper carries. We talked about Jinx having a massive KDA for one Fong. That's something that they can definitely take away. And interesting enough, this is kind of the 80s sort of breakdown that we saw, that we sort of expected Quanfong going for Jinx and Light going for Tristana, but this time away, LNG are taking away a page from the opponent's book.
Yeah, so Light going with that hyper carry. Nocturne locked in super early in the draft as well. I would assume that this is going towards Angel, but honestly, it's kind of a flex right now that we've seen Nocturne across the Rift. In the meantime, you could just lock in a hyper carry for Huanfeng as well. The Jinx was taken away because of the Thresh, but Aphelios is available, and it certainly fits the playstyle.
I will mention that Nocturne has been a counterpick against Gnar, and that has been Nakuya's best champion. So we've seen Zune play this matchup. You can constantly shove the lane. You can use a Paranoia to deny the teleport from Gnar, and there's very little that Gnar can actually do in that matchup. Yes, he's a better frontline, but he's never joining the team fights anyway. So I like this move from SUNING. It's a flex pick that we haven't seen before really from them, but it can go into multiple lanes, and it's a great preemptive counter to what Nakuya likes to pick. LNG for them, it looks like they're going for a rather stock and standard sort of front-to-back team fighting style. Karma is also an interesting flex for them. Iwandi has played this in the past. Icon has already played it with the Moonstaff build. So it's looking like LNG are giving themselves some priority whatever lane they choose to employ it in.
I've got a feeling that Karma's going to Icon, mate. I've got a feeling this is LNG going, look, I agree, Light is the carry. Let's just all in on that bot lane and make sure this Jinx is the hyper carry. I like the idea. I like the direction they're going with that one. LNG, though, banning away a Zilean is not a ban I was expecting to see, Clement.
This is really interesting. I don't want to mention this because it feels so far-flung, but casting the PCS, I've actually seen the Nocturne Zilean combo, and it's kind of funny in action. Like, you just dive bomb someone, which is, I think what LNG are doing is they're trying to prevent any threat from Light just being blown up at the start of the fight. So they don't want any of these potentially, you know, cheesy combinations coming out. We haven't seen Zilean this entire split from Angel. It's a complete surprise, honestly, but that's my read on the situation. They don't want the dive bomb combo. In the meantime, SUNING just taking away safe blind pick top lane champions. Makuya, his go-to have been the Gnar, Ornn, and Renekton, so they're just making sure that, you know, he's not going to get a lot of these different chances to get a safe blind pick. And you know, I think LNG right now, they probably are going to hold on to the support because that's a potential flex, and they're probably going to show a blind pick top right now. I don't mind the Sion, honestly. I feel like the Sion is fairly safe, but the Gnar, as we mentioned, doesn't have a good matchup into Zoe. We've seen Zoom destroy this matchup before.
Yeah, the Nocturne certainly can destroy that Gnar, and Sion will getting banned away. Now, on the side of Bin, we'll have to see what he goes for, but you have to go for... Obviously, there's the Nocturne that could potentially be top, could potentially be mid. We have to see which other solo lane will come out. And then also that jungle pickup. SOFM's gone very, very late in the draft with his jungle lock-in. But things like the Olaf still available if he just wants to go with stock and standard. But his Kayn, we've seen a reasonable amount of his Kayn. He could have the Nocturne either. I don't know. It's all a bit up in the air for Sue.
This is super interesting. The Aurelia is usually the counter to Gnar, so I assume that it just means the top lane is going to be something. The top lane is going to be Aurelia, and Nocturne is going to go somewhere else.
It's Nocturne jungle. SFM's going Nocturne jungle. Angel with the Silas coming in. This is spicy. SUNING straight out of the gate. bringing something completely off of the wall. LNG now going for their last pick support. It's the Nautilus. Who cares? I don't care about the last pick support. All I care about is this kooky comp from Suning.
This is so fun for Suning. This is an old school 1-3-1 draft composition. You have two side laners in Silas and Aurelia that win out in their matchups and are unstoppable late game. And the way you can play it is, if people try to pick off your split pushers, you just turn the lights off. They can't chase the person anymore. You can throw in a Nocturne on either the person that's being hunted, or you can just use him on the other side of the map to find picks. So this is like a very old school strategy that we used to see from, I believe I first saw it in LCK, where there was like Ahri and Nocturne, and you play two lanes on the map at the same time. But we're going back to Bedlam. This is super fun. Honestly, it's just a composition that, as we talked about, really highlights Suning's strength, but is something that is also super orthodox. On the other hand, for LNG, I think we got half of what we expected. Mikuya on the Gnar, Icon on a control mage, a supportive control mage. This is much more of their style, this split. Not exactly what we'd hope for, but really strong in the meta. And on the other hand, light on a hyper carry. So I think LNG has come out with standard fare, exactly what we expected, while Suning has decided to go on the spicy route to accentuate their advantages.
This is going to be an interesting one. Very much a clash of styles here. I do like what LNG have gone for. I like that they're putting all of the eggs in the light basket. I think that is the correct way to go. My only concern is I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to find lane advantages with that Jinx and Nautilus. Maybe if Hongfong on step out of position, there could be an opportunity, but ultimately it could be down to the later stages of the game. We'll have to see. We're going into game number 1 of Suning and LNG. Here we are going on to Summoner's Rift for Suning versus LNG. You can hear the gyos behind me as it's all kicking off here. We've got a spicy draft to kick this series off. Both of these teams, by the way, have never won the LPL before. And I just want to quickly mention something, because the last 4 splits, we've had brand new champions in the LPL. Each of our last 4 champions, it's been the first time they ever won the LPL, which means to continue that trend, it'd have to be either RA, Suning, or LNG to make the miracle run all the way through the gauntlet. This would be the beginning of that journey for either of our teams today.
I've got some bad news for you. I'm not keeping my hopes up high for that to really happen. We're going to take a look at the runes and the start so far. Pretty interesting for SOFM. He's actually going for the lethal tempo. So this is not typically the rune that we see a lot of the times. It's a lot less burst damage coming in, and it's more of a chase down rune. So this is going to work really well in the side lanes, but less in the bottom lane 3v3 sort of gank style. He really is indexing into that late game, and oh my god, Angel with a huge trade early on.
Yeah, that's rough for Icon, blowing some of those corrupting pot stacks already. And the Karma, one thing that we have to mention as well is we talked about the mid-jungle 2v2 for Tarzan and Icon. One thing Karma adds is movement speed. Guess what Hecarim absolutely loves? This 2v2 is actually pretty potent, surprisingly so.
Yeah, you do expect there to be some early priority for the Karma and for Hecarim to be able to get a good track onto Nocturne, which is really important. Usually on a blue side Nocturne, you have to keep that Krug camp warded. That's when most of these Nocturnes are going to hit level 6, and they can throw a gank into the bot side fairly easily. You have to prepare for that one. So we'll see if Tarzan can track SOFM. In the meantime, looking at the solo lanes, we do expect there to be a bit more of an advantage for Bin early on, as bot lane trading is not going particularly well for Suning down here. Very close to losing a summoner here, as we did see the Ignite go down from Iwandi.
And Tarzan wants to increase that advantage as he moves towards the bottom side. This could be a dive as the TP's being channeled on both sides already.
No.
On gets a hook in though. That's a pick onto Iwandi, flashes out to safety and will survive. Great play, though, from SUNING to deny the dive, but LNG not back it off just yet. Still toying with the idea, but they're out of minions, and they're out of chances.
Yeah, they're still trying to push this one in. They do have a bit of a level lead, I think, on... actually, no. They're just going for the pure 4v3, knowing that Nocturne isn't here.
Surely not. Here we go. Hook comes in. On is the target. Flashes behind the tower. Survives for a second. Eventually goes down as Angel still going strong. Huanfeng is here, though. He's on Aphelios. Can he turn this one around? This would be huge for SUNING. The early kills onto Aphelios. Icons under the tower. And SUNING win out the fight. S2FM, he's stuck down from the jungle. Flashes in for light, and SUNING get everything to kick us off. No, they don't! Light turns it around!
That was such a good juke from Light. Actually flashes backward instead of forward, but Bin still has more to say on the action. When the dust settles, it's a 3 for 3, but look at that kill distribution coming out from both sides. All of the takedowns, all of the heads going over towards Light for LNG, and Aphelios getting a good part of the cash as well. So we're going to go over this one. It's a 4v3. They see Nocturne on the map. They go right in, but the target selection here actually isn't that good. They tack up the support first, so that means they lose a lot of their cooldowns just based onto the utility members from SUNING. And everything is really good here, but this is a great counterplay from Light. He basically walks forward, goes SOFM into the tower, and then when he tags the zap and the slow, he then flashes outside of his own tower to secure the kill. In the meantime, Mikuya gets the kill on the top lane.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened up at the top side. Mikuya gets himself a kill there on towards Bin, which is not the way that matchup should really be going. We missed a little bit there. One thing I want to point out, Light was 2 levels down on SOFM in that play, by the way. That was level 5 versus level 3, and Light manages to pull it out. Both 80 carries, now monstrous, as Angel goes in the mid lane. We said this was going to be a slow game here, Clement. We were very, very wrong.
LNG know their win condition. They know they have to get the early game going. When it comes to the late game, I feel like SUNING have a much easier time just playing the map. You side lane split push all day. You don't even have to run into 5v5s. So LNG are trying to accelerate this as fast as possible. And one of the ways they're doing it is with this Nocturne. This wave is pushing in, and SOFM has already ticked over to level 6 with how much farm he got from the mid lane.
SOFM is hanging around the bot side here. He's in Tribrush, has the paranoia available, hasn't been spotted on a ward. On could maybe bait an all-in here from I1D, but Tarzan knows what's up. He's going to be on the bot side too. Both junglers, level 6, ultimates available on stepping forwards here. This could be disaster for SUNING, because Light is pretty huge. SOFM, though, will go and clear that ward. I1D tries to engage, but Spell Shield denies it. I1D now going to be feared as Angel has moved on down, has stolen Karma's ult, but doesn't even need it as Huanfeng gets his 3rd. Yeah, that was a beautiful collapse coming in from SUNING, making sure that I1D, without the flash, would have to walk into River, into the waiting arms of Angel. A very easy pickup kill from them, and I was holding my breath. I felt like that was going to go terribly for SUNING, as LNG had the vision advantage, but doesn't end up there. I1D just with a bit of an overreach. Nicely done here by SUNING to punish I1D, and even though Tarzan was there, LNG couldn't really commit to the answer because Angel was able to get out of that mid lane. And I think that's an important distinction here is we saw the Twisted Fate ban coming out from LNG, respecting the fact that Angel loves to grab that Twisted Fate and make his way down to the bottom side. Here on the Sylas, you can do a very similar thing where you just push that wave out and get out into your side lanes.
Yeah, and this matchup really isn't going the way as LNG would have hoped for. They wanted to just go with the blind Karma, but with Kingslayer, it's very easy for Sylas to just farm up and ignore the damage that Karma is throwing towards him. We see Icon going for the Grievous Wounds item for mages right off the bat just to make sure that he can put a little bit more damage on. And right now, LNG is actually like sole lane that is slightly ahead is Mikuya's lane. It's been the top lane that is trying to still keep themselves afloat here, and I have to struggle to say that's where they really want to be. I don't think top lane advantage really means that much in this matchup for LNG. So I do expect to see Tarzan maybe try to prop up Light even a little bit more. Huanfeng has a massive bounty on him, and if they can close down that kill, that would be great.
They're not going to be able to for now. As Bin moves down, this will be the Herald taken here for SUNING. Another advantage for them. But I just want to point out how great it is that we're talking about these two teams and... Hang on. Icon's in trouble mid. No, trade is going to end. We're talking about these two teams and the strength in the AD carry on both sides. In fact, the strength of the AD carries on this entire side of the bracket. But we start the game off with Hwanfeng and Light both having 3 kills for themselves. What a way to accelerate that AD carry storyline, because both of them are in a position to carry these games.
It's really funny, but bottom side of the bracket is meant for bottom lane. It doesn't mean about the position, it just means about the quality of bot laners that we have there. Jackie Love, we have Chomong, then we have Light and Hwanfeng on the same side. It's absolutely insane how stacked this bottom side is for ADs.
It's kind of hilarious that the top side of the bracket has all of the really great top laners as well, with Xiaohu, Zoom, Nuguri all up there. So it's kind of a hilarious fact of the bracket, but I'm amazed at how quick-paced this game has been so far, Clement. We're 4-4 on the scoreboard. When we're looking at these two teams, they are 2 of the slowest teams in the LPL. They're also 2 of the least bloody teams, if you will, in the LPL. So we were coming in expecting this to be slow, expecting this to be all macro focused, but so far it's been an absolute brawl in the bottom side. The pace has slowed down, but SOFM has that Herald in his pocket, and I think that could be the next moment of collapse here, where we see the teams really scrap up.
Yeah, I think what LNG are planning for right now is they're putting all their eggs in the same basket. They want to go for Drake stacking and 5v5 team fights. The way SUNING want to play this is they want to get over, just probably sneak 1 Drake, make sure the timers are delayed, and get into a late game where they can 1-3-1. I think the next Drake is going to be really important. You have SUNING with the Herald to potentially set up a diversion, a fork, and then they also have the triple dive coming in from Bin, Angel, and SOFM. So I think the next team fight, you're really going to see SUNING kind of go all in onto Jinx. Make sure that she's not this far ahead and this accelerated. Make sure that they can still take her down when there's a market experience difference coming in from the dual lane. And just make sure that the Drake timer also gets delayed. So I do think SUNING, this is going to be a huge play for the next play. We're going to have to pay close attention to where the vision is set and whether the 3-man can find a dive.
Icon in the mid lane here as Angel starts that trade off. Doesn't overcommit though. Will get traded back on a little bit. LNG moved to the bot side. On has to face check, but immediately everyone flies into the play. But there's a TP. They were waiting for it. SUNING bait the play out, and Tarzan will fall to Hwanfeng. Now Angel and SOFM diving at the backside of the fight. They won't find more, but they will find an opportunity for this Herald.
That was a beautiful execution of the paranoia combination that we're talking about. Once you hit the ultimate, no one else from LNG can actually join the fight. They were sitting on double TPs from their solo laners, but they couldn't make it here just because of the Nocturne. SUNING win out of the bot lane because of the paranoia.
Herald drop, but I don't think they can quite commit to the tower here. Now the answer, the TP coming, but the spell shield blocks it. Iwandi has to flash, and Icon arrives. Hwanfeng survives with the flash, unblocks the rocket. SUNING somehow get away with it.
What a great goalie of a support. He makes sure that Hwanfeng doesn't give over that massive bounty, and Angels is still hanging around the side. Talking about diving into the backline, Angel is going to be so damn scary because he does have that depth charge coming out from Nautilus. It's a 0.8 AP ratio, and if you give that sort of a nuke to a Silas, Light is going to have a very hard time staying alive, especially without his summoners.
Look, this is a genius game plan here from SUNING, because when you think about it, when you look back at... All right, fine. Let's take a look at this fight first, and I'll come back into this one.
Yep, so you see here, Paranoia is used, and then the TP comes in from the side of SUNING. It means that no one can join from LNG. They're sitting on double TPs. They cannot use them, and SUNING just win based off of the numbers advantage that they have. Really smart, clever play coming in from them. Now LNG try and claw something back in the Drake fight.
SOFM having to flash away from that one as vision control very much in favor of LNG. Drake up in a minute's time as Angel desperately trying to vie for mid prio, but forced away by Icon here in mid lane. And when we look at how these two teams played in the regular split, it was SUNING that won the series 2-0, but LNG getting 2v2 kills every single game in that bottom side. But it's genius here from SUNING. You can't get 2v2 killed if bot lane is a 5v5.
Oh, I got it. That's actually insane. 200 IQ, 5 head plays coming out from SUNING. Just making sure that, hey, if your 2v2 can't win, then at least the rest of the team can. And Iwandi, I'm sorry, but you're just trying to get vision at the wrong moment.
There's nothing Iwandi can do here as SFM just flies to the bot side again. And SFM just going to slam in all chat jungle diff there as he manages to get another gank off in the bottom side. And I'm amazed at how few assists these two junglers have, considering how many kills there've been in the bottom side. The junglers have been there every single time. The scoreboard doesn't seem to reflect that at all.
Yeah, I think it's mainly been zoning ultimates coming from the side of SOFM. Tarzan knows that they've lost the bot side completely. They're going to have to find something in the top. And I do want to point this out, but Bin has actually been doing a good job in the 1v1 versus Mikuya. We saw the first blood go over to Mikuya's side, but Bin has been able to claw back the CS lead. And, you know, that pretty much means that LNG's sole winning point on the map is no longer in their control, and we should expect, once that Blade of the Ruin King hits, Bin to start the onslaught with the silence split push.
Yeah, in the meantime, though, Light does have his Kraken Slayer now, so a good spike here. One thing to bear in mind as well is both of these AD carries will spike on 2 items. When you think of crit AD carries, you always think of the 3-item spike, but it's important to remember that with Hurricane, both of these AD carries will get into a really strong team fight position on their second item. So keep your eyes on the scoreboard for that one. There's still going to be a full Zeal item away from that for now, though. But that next Drake in 4 minutes could be a huge point of contention, but before that, Herald will be spawning shortly. You can see pings galore, both teams start to move over.
Yeah, and this is one of the few areas that LNG can actually come back into the game. They are a much more focused 5v5 team. I feel like they have a better front line in terms of Hecarim, Meganar, and Nautilus. So if they can keep Light well protected and just make sure they close off that sort of a gap in the Herald, they should be able to take this fight even with the gold deficit. So SUNING have to play this very carefully, and I'm not sure they really want to fully contest. They have to dive Light in order for this to work, but oh no!
Oh, he got it! They don't need to contest. SFM just walks in and steals it away. Angel looking for a way in here. Might have overstepped though, because the whole of LNG staying grouped. And with the Vanguard's edge, Bin gets the Herald. Can SUNING get away with the daylight robbery? Knock up onto Huanfeng. There's a horsey charging him down as well. Huanfeng will fall, and SUNING are falling apart in the fight. LNG manages to get on top. Mikuya about to go down though. SFM still going strong, and Angel is here on the Silas. He's got the sustain, and SUNING are turning it back on his head. Iwandi will fall as Tarzan and Icon get another kill on the top side of the fight. 3 for 3 on this one. Has Bin and SOFM, they don't want to let Tarzan get away with this one. They can see his health bar, but Icon is going to chase onto the Nocturne here. I think SOFM will be fine. That was pure chaos, but SUNING just about get themselves the Rift Herald.
Yeah, that's heartbreak for LNG. They don't actually put their front line in front of the Nocturne, and SOFM just walks in to steal it away. There was no crowd control on him. Look how close he actually gets to this Herald. That's illegal. I definitely felt like LNG should have kept a couple more eyes on the right side of the team fight. But as you can see, in the front-to-back team fight, LNG are very, very powerful. We don't get to see that play develop as already Icon solo killed by Bin.
Yeah, Bin it wasn't even just a solo kill. That was a 2v1. Bin found an opportunity there to go onto Icon and just take him down. I'm not entirely sure how that one started out, but I mean, Bin, after getting killed in his lane to start this one off with a lane counter, he's apparently angry about that situation.
Yeah, I felt like that was a play where Icon probably overstayed into the top lane, and Bin was able to just walk back and punish him. So once again, we're heading onto the map where LNG are losing out on potential points in the game where they can force SUNING to team fight. At this rate, they're not going to get that Dragon Soul until 30 minutes into the game. That's so much time for SUNING to farm up in the side waves, and I don't think you're going to be in a position to actually force anything at that point. So I think the next big play for LNG has to come from when SUNING drop the Herald. If SUNING group up and drop the Herald, that is LNG's opportunity. They have to put all the chips on the table and just make sure they win. It's not going to get easier later on.
I just love how aggressive this game has been, considering what we saw from these two teams in the regular split. We came in saying this was going to be two of our slowest teams in the LPL going head-to-head, playing a slow macro-focused game. We've got almost a kill a minute. That's the most LPL thing that we could have possibly had, is our two slowest teams go a kill a minute against each other. And the players that we were talking about being the carries, Huanfeng and Light, are both getting huge benefits off the back of these skirmishes. Both of them getting towards that 2-item mark that I mentioned earlier on. But Bin, he's a player that we now have to start to focus on as well. With that third kill in the bank, already has his first item. We talked about SUNING having a 1-3-1 composition. I'm not sure anyone can 1-3-1 against an Aurelia right now on the side of LNG.
Definitely not. That Blade of the Ruin King in, very powerful. And this is also a very interesting buy from Bin. He's not going to go for the full commit onto Triforce immediately. Actually segues into a pickaxe. I'm kind of curious why he's doing that so far, but it just looks like he wants immediate power because he knows that the Drake is coming up. That would be my guess. Angel is spotted out, though.
Go. Opportunity for a fight here. LNG do have the Mega Gnar, but it's about to time out for Makuya. Goes in, tries to get the ult off, but now he's Mini Gnar as the fight begins. SUNING dive in, but they lose one to start the fight off. SFM trying to chase out Icon, but look at that, into the meat grinder. Huanfeng just melts their health bars, and LNG, after what looked like a good fight at the start, just fall apart. They've apple crumbled before our eyes, and Light has nothing he can do about this Nocturne. Makuya still Mini Gnar as Angel chases him down, Everfrosts him, and gives the kill over to his AD carry. In fact, Angel took it at the end, but it doesn't matter. 15-8, that'll be the Drake, that'll be a tower.
That's a disgusting death charge that Angel got. He actually stopped Makuya mid-jump and then hit the majority of the team with that. That's absolutely insane reactions from him. Really, really quick on the trigger. He dissolves the entire engage from LNG. I actually felt like that was a pretty good decision making by LNG to decisively go onto one of the flanks and make sure they break apart Nocturne. But look at Angel right here. He goes in. He let's see what ultimate he steals again. He gets the death charge here, and look at how many people he stuns. He gets a 4-man stun and stops Makuya's engage, allowing for an easy follow-up from the rest of the team, and it's just pure gravy cleanup from that point forward. Absolutely disgusting play coming out from the Sylas.
It feels like everyone is firing on all cylinders today from SUNING. Even On is playing exceptionally as well, which he has been one of the weaker points of the roster across the course of this year, but feels like SUNING, a team that we've criticized for being inactive in the early game, are more than willing to pull the trigger here today. They have 15 kills on the scoreboard. This will be their second Drake. They only have one tower taken down so far, though, which feels like that's the next target on the chopping block for SUNING now, is to start to break this map open.
I will say I really feel quite poorly about Nautilus. We have to remember Nautilus was a last pick coming in from LNG, and they already saw the Sylas. When your composition is all about protecting your Jinx, giving Angel a 0.8 AP ratio nuke onto your own backline feels really, really bad. And I just want to commend SUNING for having the foresight to taking away the Tom Kench. I felt like that was actually pretty critical in their draft phase. They sort of mapped out what champions that I1 would go for, and they had the perfect anticipation answers in the Nocturne and the Sylas to punish this sort of single carry composition.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision there at that point in the draft for LNG, right? Because Alistair ain't that great against the Sylas either. Giving him the Unbreakable Will certainly doesn't feel good. Angel has this onslaught of shadows to use, though, so keep your eyes on that Sylas, because it's absolutely devastating with his AP ratios if you can get it across the whole team. But I want to look on the side of LNG. We've been looking at this game through SUNING's eyes for a lot of it, because, you know, they're 6,000 gold ahead at this point. They've got 2 Drakes. You can understand it. But for LNG, what's the game plan here? Because we said they needed to get ahead early. That's not happened. Is there a redemption story available for them, as Baron is actually just getting started by SUNING?
Well, Mega Gnar ult is always a redemption arc that's potentially available for any team that has Gnar, so maybe we can look for that one, but they are definitely on the back foot here. We do have Tarzan for a potential steal. They still have the Blast Cone plus the Onslaught of Shadows, so this is a bit of a 50-50 coming in from SUNING.
Here we go Paranoia in. Tarzan goes in. It was 3 HP.
No.
Huanfeng gets it with an auto. Both of the junglers fumble the smite. And now Makuya caught. Angel goes golden to keep himself alive. Moonlight Vigil on the whole team. Just burns through everybody. The whole team's on fire. And now goes the fight. Great Gnar ulti, but there's no follow-up here. SOFM survives on the back of the fight. Makuya getting chased down. Bin is on the flank. Stuns them all and cuts them through. It's beautiful from Bin as he recycles LNG.
Perfect ace coming out from SUNING. Not a single survivor from LNG. They wander a little bit too far forward with Makuya, and even though he gets a good ultimate, it's not enough to stop the onslaught there. Honestly, I don't think that was a great Baron play from SUNING. It was ultra risky without... it was kind of a 50-50 given that Jinx had super mega death rocket and you have Tarzan that's unstoppable across the wall. But for somehow, even though SOFM doesn't even land the smite, they still stack the Baron and then they win the team fight in the end. So good job by SUNING. It was, I'm not sure it was a necessary risk, but they get away.
Look, they're playing for style points at this point. The rocket just goes wide. 3 HP as both junglers smite the Baron. That was insanely close to them. SUNING are able to follow up and just engage. I feel like LNG could have just backed away here.
They could.
I feel like they didn't have to go for this.
They 100% could have just walked away here, but look at Huanfeng, how committed he was to that play. He flashes over the wall and they're going for more.
Oh no. Oh no, Tarzan's been caught. The whole team's been caught. LNG, what are you doing? This isn't your jungle. This isn't your map. They're forced out of the play. They're taken down one by one. SOFM will chase down Makuya. And this is a sorry story as the end of our first game right now, because I'm pretty sure SUNING, they'll take this opportunity to break open the base.
24-8. This game looked like it was going to start off very even-handedly from LNG, but then when we got into the team fights, when we got into the bot lane plays, SUNING just out-mechanicked their way. They're out-muscled themselves in the Herald play and then their Baron fight, and now they're looking at the prize. Their first Spring Split playoff win since the team's inception.
Yeah, this is the first time this team has been in spring playoffs. SUNING as an organization had never made it to spring playoffs before. They'd always made it in summer, never in spring. And now they make it for the first time and they are here to show up. On and Huanfeng want a little bit of the glory for themselves right here as they stack on a control ward. They're slowly but surely getting outnumbered, but On steps on up, goes for Tarzan. The hook is there. Huanfeng has plenty of damage with the paranoia. Wait, in the meantime, Angel's just got a solo kill in the base. SOFM goes in for a second one. It was all a bait. That wasn't even the real threat. Angel goes golden under the tower. The rest of the team can now follow up. Angel has so much healing as Icon desperately trying to escape, but there's nowhere to go. Their entire base belongs to SUNING at this point. Everfrost in as they find another. SUNING are brute forcing a victory.
Stacks on stacks for Angel. He has that Magi's fully charged. 383 AP before the 30-minute mark, and there's no answer from life. He sees Angel, and he goes to heaven directly. Angel is sending him through the pearly gates and into Game 2.
Unbelievable game coming out from SUNING there. And the most important thing I think to take away from this one is how fast SUNING